Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of For the Fans podcast. We are back, week one. Some of us are happy with our week one results. Some of us are a little sad with our week one results. I'm a little bitter about mine, but that's okay. Can't win them all.
Hey, I got a question for those of us who are here tonight. I want to see out of those of us who are here, like who's the most unhinged fantasy wise out of all of us. How many, Shane? Let's start with you. How many fantasy leagues are you in right now?
Haha, haha. Let me count real quick.
Oh, jeez.
I could be in more if I really wanted to. Oh shoot, hold on. I need to sign into my fantasy account. Give me a minute.
All
So
right, Tyler.
are we counting pick'em leagues as well?
Nope,
No,
just
just
pure
fantasy
fantasy
football.
football.
Okay, I just have 7.
Okay, and people say I'm unhinged for 5.
I have 6. I could be in probably 2 more,
Oh.
but I opted out.
Oh,
Whoa, Tyler's our most unhinged. How about
To,
that?
to
So-
be fair,
so I'm the
Tyler
crazy
is
one.
in
There you
3
go.
of my leagues, so
Oh, well, I know you guys are in a lot of mine too. So, Tyler, how many did you win this week?
all but 2. And
Hey,
Shane was
that's
one of
pretty
those.
good. Yeah, and you beat me in one of them too. One of your wins was against me. I know that.
And yeah, and if it wasn't for Cooper Cup, I would have lost to my mother-in-law, and that would have been far worse.
That's fair. That's fair. Yes, I agree with that. I won 3 out of my 5. The 2 that I lost, well, Tyler, one of them was to you, and the other league that I lost, you were in it.
Oh, sweet.
Wait,
Yeah,
I
I'm
played.
just in everyone's league.
I played twice this week. Oh, great.
I think
You
I
play
played
me
Tyler again
twice or
this
Shane?
week.
Yeah, Tyler, I'm pretty sure I played you in 2 of my leagues twice this week.
I played Tyler in a league.
Yeah, I play you in our one like for the fans,
get
like
ready.
our just us four admin one, and then I also play you in our keeper
Uh-huh.
league. So this is gonna be enjoyable. Great. I'm probably gonna suck it up just
Oh,
for
don't
saying
worry,
that.
McKay. I only won 2 of my leagues this week, and I am very bitter about it.
Oh, ouch. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Why you're feeling the way that you feel. Okay, cool.
I
So it's
had
been a good.
I
finish
had to go
for
against
some.
Anthony Richardson and Jake Moody.
Oh, okay. That's
Yeah.
fair. You are off
Ooh.
to a start, my man.
That honestly killed me. I was going to win, and then another one I was going to win, but every single receiver on my team decided to die that week. And when I say die, let's see. I had Amon-Ra, who got me 4 points. I had Brandon Ayuk, who got me 4 points. I had Dalton
Yep.
Kincaid, who got me 2 points. And I had DeAndre Swift, who got me 5 points.
Yeah, you can blame the Bears O-line for that one.
Thing is, I had Jake Moody and I got 26 points, and he was my highest point earner. The kicker.
Yuck.
Oh.
That's rough.
Yeah,
Oh.
I was not happy with that.
Well, so I guess for some of us, we're off to a great start as the season kicks off here. Others, not so much. Like, if we're making a QB comparison here, you've got a couple of quarterbacks like Anthony Richardson, who are off to a really great start. And then you got other quarterbacks like Kirk Cousins or Jordan
Joe
Love.
Burrow.
Who are off to a really rough start. Jordan Love's the big one, though. MCL injury, 3 to 6 weeks.
Yeah,
Malik Willis is getting the starting job. But they're not putting him on IR. That's one thing that I'm a little confused about. But all right.
yeah, but at least with Jordan Love, he was able to get double-digit points before going down on like Joe Burrow, who only got like 9.
Yeah. Yeah.
Generational talent, my butt. Very
We'll be
bitter
getting
with
into
him.
that a little bit. Yeah, we'll be getting to that a little bit tonight, I reckon, with one of the big matchups this week. But hey, outside of that, obviously there's plenty of questionable injuries. You could talk about the tight end room right now with players like David Njoku and Ferguson for the Cowboys. Another big name we got to talk about who has been put on IR is Puka Nacua. He's going to be available again in 3 to 4 weeks. His is a knee injury. These ones are pretty clear cut, plain and simple. We'll just kind of have to see how long it takes for them to come back and if they will be good when they come back. What do you guys think? Do you think that they're fantasy worthy when they come back, or would you be careful with players like Nacua and Love?
I've got no problem picking them back up.
Yeah, I got no problem. I'm stashing Love, and I got Nakua. He stashed away as well, and just threw in some very very low impact players. I mean, CMC is still expected to be out, so fantasy's always fun.
Yeah, yeah, they're off to a very interesting start.
Also, speaking of interesting start, we do have our Pick'em League, which has a total group of 5 right now, including me. I am in 4th place out of the 5, so I had a rough week. But we have one person, House Colon, who has a 13-3 correction. So congrats to him.
That would be Tyler.
Or them.
That would be Tyler.
Ah,
That would be me. Yeah.
Tyler! I take back my congratulations. I don't feel as good anymore.
Hey, I'm at the bottom of that
What can I
list.
say? What
So
can I say?
I'm like, I figured Cheesehead Hater was McKay, because he's still
Yep,
mad that
that is
Aaron
me.
Rodgers still owns him. And now
it's true.
you got a new owner in Jordan Love.
It's true. It's true. Unfortunately.
Yeah. So when are you becoming a 49ers fan?
No
I'm gonna
comment.
join his wife.
Maybe she's on the right thinking path.
Yeah, just wait, and she has to go through the pain at some point.
Oh, it was the Super Bowl. That was the first start for it. But
Oh,
honestly,
no, I'm talking about pain, kind of like what Patriots fans are going through right now, what the
oh,
Falcons
yeah.
went through.
And see, that's what I'm just accepting. You know what I
We're
mean? I'm gonna
going
be in
through.
through it. I'm gonna be in through it thick and thin. You know, as a Bears fan, I recognize that the Packers own me, like how Kendrick owns Drake. You know what I mean? You get my segue there, Shane?
Yeah, go ahead and announce it.
Obviously, the big one for me. I mean, a huge Kendrick fan over here, but yeah, Kendrick Lamar, super stoked. He's going to be performing at the Super Bowl halftime show this year. That's kind of our other little bit of news that we're going to be sharing here at the beginning outside of the injuries. Because we always talk about it, how these performances might go. I'm excited for this one. He did a great job a couple of years ago. I think this one will be even better. Yep. All right. Anyway, with that, we move into some of our recap from last week.
Alrighty. Our little wows and the woes that are back, where we each pick a game.
Yep, let's do it.
Alrighty, I guess I'll kick us off because my name's first on this list. So, my game, I picked the Saints versus Panthers, which last week we quickly brushed over them and said it was going to be kind of a boring game and blah, blah, blah. The most interesting thing about that game was that we were talking about was that it's the divisional rivalry games where those are usually close. This, however, and the reason that I picked it is it was not close. Like, both I think everyone kind of viewed the Saints and the Panthers to be bad teams, but apparently the Panthers are even worse
Really
than
bad.
what we thought.
How do we feel about with Bryce Young? Because I mean that one's just hard to put a mark on. Do we say Bryce Young's the worst quarterback in the league right now, or do we say it's Daniel Jones? I mean,
I think it's a very heavy race between the two, but I think Bryce Young has him beat because Bryce Young threw some very, very questionable passes that were easily intercepted, where just not a single wide receiver was in the area.
okay, yeah, I could get down with that. Tyler, what do you think? He disappeared? Did he die?
Oh no. I don't know. I was trying to collect my thoughts, and I don't know that I have a strong opinion on this one.
Even as an NFC South fan?
Even as an NFC South football fan, I'll tell you, I have little faith in Bryce. And maybe that comes in part due to division I'm in, but I have very low expectations for him, and I don't see that changing anytime soon, based on even what I've seen from his first game.
I guess that would make you feel better as a fan in that division because that means you've got 2 wins this season, right?
That's the dream,
That's
but
what you
I
hope.
also didn't
Yeah.
think I didn't think the Falcons would take a loss to the Steelers either. So,
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah. Why don't you talk about that since that's your pick?
Well. So, obviously, it was an easy pick, as this was the game I probably paid the most attention to.
Mm-hmm.
But I came into this game thinking, okay, we got something to prove. We're going up against Justin Fields. We're going up against Arthur Smith. Like, we're talking all of the possibilities that we could have had from last year. And here we go again. What are they going to do? They've got to show up. They've got to play well. But as I unfortunately predicted last week, the biggest thing that was going to be a problem for him, TJ Watt. And who was the problem for him? TJ Watt. Just completely destroyed him. You looked at the stats in the game. They did. I mean, I feel like for the most part, they were pretty comparable. The biggest difference is sacks taken, turnovers, third downs, rushing yards. And rushing yards, I mean, they kind of made up for with passing yards. But you'd think on a team like Atlanta, you'd have quite a few more rushing yards. So I don't know. But I got to say, I think it was just one of those games that everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. Kirk Cousins did not play the way I think we were all hoping he would, and that led us to a Falcons loss. But props to the Steelers. They played well, especially their defense. And I don't know what it says about a team when your kicker's got to carry you all the way to the W, but at least they got him there. So at this point, I'd take that.
For sure. The way I look at that, because I'll be honest, I watched a good majority of that game as well. There's a little bit of a comical thing I think I want to throw in there, but I think that the reason that the Steelers won, Tyler and Shane, is because Arthur Smith thought he was still playing for the Falcons. He thought he was still working.
I've seen so many people make that joke.
Yeah.
It's funnier every time.
Yeah, I don't know. But, it was disappointing. I'll say for one thing, it was disappointing that we're still not seeing anything that impressive from Bijan Robinson, because I still feel like he's not utilized properly. I feel like they've got to get that figured out soon, because you got to give the ball to your best player, which I believe is him. The one positive thing that I will say is that one touchdown pass that Kirk did throw that kind of just landed perfectly for Kyle Pitts to go up, climb the ladder, and catch. That was cool to watch. I liked that.
I agree. And I think it was the first sign of some creativity from the Falcons. I think, we can blame the players and say, Kirk Cousins didn't show up. Maybe some of the wide receivers didn't quite run the routes the way they should have. But in the end, I think a lot of the plays were pretty cut and dry. I think they have a ton of room for some creativity, and I didn't see that. Every time Bijan got the ball, he ran to the left. Ran to the left, up the field. And it worked for the first quarter until they figured that out. And then
that's true.
All stopped moving.
I'll go ahead and I'll take the next one here. Obviously, okay, we should have mentioned this earlier, but obviously for those who are listening right now, Matt's not joining us tonight. He's not feeling well, so it will just be the three of us. So we'll hopefully have him on the next go around. But I'll cap us off here with our wells and our woes. I'm gonna be talking about, honestly, what I think was probably the most exciting game of the week, and that was the Sunday night football game, which was between the Detroit Lions and the Los Angeles Rams. There's a lot of different things. Yep, exactly. There's a lot of things that I can say about this game that brought me a lot of excitement. I mean, the first thing that happens, it's not so much of a good thing as Puka Nacua going down, but not only did you see Cooper Kupp, of course, rise to the challenge, but you saw a lot of other Rams receivers also rise to the challenge, and that was exciting to see. That the fact that Matthew Stafford, coming against the onslaught of the Lions defense, he did well. He did well. I mean, I feel like you got to give him his flowers, give him the credit that he deserves despite the loss. But then more where you got to give the credit to is just how well the Lions played. I mean, it was well executed. Yeah, you didn't really see much from Amon-Ra St. Brown. It got targeted different ways. Jameson Williams for one. Jahmyr Gibbs played well. Over time, you completely have to give to David Montgomery. I mean, the Rams defense just could not stop him in that moment. And it made for a very, very entertaining football game that resulted in an overtime. I don't think the overtime would have been possible if it weren't for kind of an almost freak-like interception that Jared Goff threw. I think the Lions would have had it locked up in regular time. But so it goes. And they still got the dub out of it. And fortunately for Matthew Stafford, he still doesn't have any wins in Detroit as a Ram. But I think this is a really good... I think this is still a really, really good, exciting start to the season, especially when it comes to Sunday night football games.
And Detroit fans are now booing Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, they were doing that at the playoff game last year too, and I'm gonna be honest with you, that was a little sad. I didn't have good feelings about that.
Oh, yeah,
don't
apparently it's
either.
like the entire Lions fan base has turned around against Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, look, the guy just didn't have a good team to work with before then, and now they're turning against him like it's all his fault. I don't know. I don't understand that. I think that the trade between Goff and Stafford worked out really well for both of them. You know, Stafford got a Super Bowl ring out of it, and Jared Goff, I mean, he's having better success with the Lions than he is with the Rams. So, I don't know, take your pick.
You know, it has to be a real good reason for me to be okay with someone booing, with an audience booing, a crowd. And I feel like it happens far more than I feel comfortable ever supporting. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I need to reevaluate my willingness to boo.
Oh, I boo Titans
Right,
fans
right.
every time I see them. They know what
See,
they
there
did.
you go.
They know what they did.
But that's a whole nother topic. I apologize.
I mean, I also boo a lot of Patriots fans. There's very few that I actually like and tolerate. Matt is one that I do like and enjoy.
Hopefully
Yeah, Matt's on the
appreciate that.
fence
He's
for me.
listening.
He's a TBD.
Yeah, Tyler still isn't sure how he feels. All right, guys, let's go into our matchups for this week. Like I said, this is how we're going to be changing it up here a little bit. There's going to be a couple games that we're going to be highlighting and talking a little bit more about, whereas other games where we don't feel like there's room for a ton of discussion, we're going to hopefully move really quickly, just kind of give our picks, talk about the matchup monster. If you have them on your fantasy team, then go ahead and, put them in if you agree with us, and then we're going to kind of move through this so that we can kind of talk about some other stuff that we hoped to get to last week, didn't have time. Hopefully we can get to it this week. But let's dive in. Week 2. Shane, kick us off.
Week 2, we got Thursday night football of the Buffalo Bills versus the Miami Dolphins. Oh, real quick, we also got Crystal Shy Foss who was saying, and that's the whole list, one Patriot fan. I have 2 Patriot fans that I like, but that's about it. Tyler, I think.
That's my wife.
I was going to say, that's
like,
his
Tyler,
wife.
do you even have one Patriot fan, or do you only have one Patriot fan that you like?
Unfortunately, I know 2 people who are Patriot fans, but due to their affiliations, I don't know that I can call them fans. Or friends. And so, and one's my brother.
The split song made that way better.
Hey, I understand they're a Patriots fan. We don't like Patriots fans, but at least they're not a Cowboys fan.
Or a Packers fan. Sorry, did I say that out loud?
We'll let it slide.
Those cheeses.
Okay.
Anyways, so Thursday night we got an AFC East divisional matchup. We got the Buffalo Bills versus the Miami Dolphins, which I think is gonna be a little bit interesting. I'm thinking the Miami Dolphins are gonna walk away with the win here.
That's where you'd be wrong.
Tell him, Tyler. Tell him.
us.
I want to hear it.
I want to hear it too. Miami has the home field advantage. Just tell me why I am wrong.
Because I think Bills are come ready to play. I don't know. I watched that game last week. I'm not a football analyst. I will tell you that watching them play, I was like, I feel like they could do pretty well against the Dolphins. I think Dolphins have a lot of good things going for them, but I think Bills are ready to play, and I'm excited to watch that game.
I think it'll be a great
And
game.
for both of you to be wrong when McKay tells us that he thinks the Dolphins are going to win.
It's true. I got to go with the Dolphins, and my reasoning behind this is it just comes down to a couple of different factors. Now, Tyler, I can get down with what you're saying with the Bills because I thought it was pretty impressive, kind of the mounting comeback that they were able to handle against the Cardinals, because I'm just going to say it plain and simple. I don't think the Cardinals are a team to laugh at this year.
No.
I actually think they're going to be pretty good.
No,
They've got things
no.
to fix. So it's
Like
kind of
Kyler
a miracle.
Murray missing an open Marvin Harrison.
Yep, yeah, exactly. Or the defensive struggles. But for the Bills, I feel like, yeah, they could come ready to play. I feel like they've got some tricks up their sleeve to make things difficult for the Dolphins. Not to mention, we're looking at somewhat of a similar Dolphins team compared to last year. Bills team has evolved a little bit, maybe on the downward slope since then, but The Bills really made things difficult for the Dolphins last season. And so I'm wondering if maybe they are able to still have their number in that regard, but anything can happen in a divisional game. My concerns stem from this. From the Dolphins side, it stems from can their defense come ready to play against the Bills? If they can't, then I'm going to look at a lot more, possibility as far as the Bills being able to pull an upset potentially here, when they're on the road. But another thing that concerns me, I know it's not a huge concern because it's not his throwing hand, but Josh Allen's other hand is injured. Will that make him more gun shy to, essentially put the team on his back and do some rushing yards that he was doing against the Cardinals? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean,
So
I
just
think.
if I had to do a
Go ahead.
coin toss with that, I go with the Dolphins.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm like, the Dolphins, I feel like I think it's the consistency that's gonna win it for them. Is that they're still very much the same team as last year, whereas the Bills team looks very, very different. And throwing wise, I didn't see any particular Bills player that was standing out and being that true number one. It just seemed like a room full of number twos. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to see how the receiving game is going to work. Whereas with the Dolphins, I mean, Tyreek Hill didn't even have that good of a game last week, but he still broke free for an 80-yard touchdown. So you never know when Tyreek Hill is going to get a ball and just outrun everybody.
Sure. No, that's a good point.
No, and that's absolutely true. I agree with all that.
Mhm.
But we're wrong.
I think the Dolphins may lead the league in passing yards, but I think Bills, and I think it's going to come down to the defense. I think if Bills can keep the mobility that they've got and the points they're getting every game, even if it's not all from passing yards like the Dolphins, I think this is going to be one heck of a game.
I'm going to add one more thing to that too. Essentially, I'm straddling the field here, playing devil's advocate, if you will, almost taking Tyler's side here with the Bills. Still going with the Dolphins, but maybe one thing to consider here too is, they lead in passing yards right now, but at the same time, sometimes you have to throw the run game into that as a factor. And there's some question marks for the Dolphins right now. Raheem Mostert will not be playing tomorrow night,
Achane
and
is
Devon
questionable.
Achane is questionable. So what if they can't utilize the run game? Are they just all going to go pass? And how long will it take the Bills defense to be able to catch on to that? Josh Allen is known for throwing interceptions. Or excuse me, the other way around. Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah. I was going to say, wait a second.
Josh Allen too. He's a big one, but Tua is known for, making plays like that, boneheaded plays that you're like, you know what I mean?
I think at that point you just gotta do jet sweeps and just have a wide receiver take the running back role. I mean, hand the ball off to Tyreek Hill, have him run to the outside. He can beat 2 to 3 guys and get to the outside pretty fast.
And see, rather than jet sweeps, I'm more of expecting with their play calling. I would expect from behind the back screen to either a running back or a wide receiver. That really doesn't get them that much yardage. You want to know where I last saw that? Oh, because that's the play they kept running when they played Kansas City in the wild card game last year.
Jeez.
So, where I'm
Matchup
going with this
monster.
matchup monster, if he is healthy, Devon Achane.
I'm
What are
gonna
you guys thinking?
say Tua for the main reason of he may have to explore than just wild passes. He may have to tuck the ball and run and play a little risky, which we saw him do last year, but he ended up getting hurt because of it. So I think he's going to be the make or break difference for this team.
Yep. I would agree.
Josh Allen, I think he carries them on his back. I think he's going to do it again.
Gonna run the ball.
Also a valid point.
All right, let's move on. Probably gonna speed through the next couple. We got San Francisco 49ers versus Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are home. I am saying the 49ers are going to win it despite not having CMC. They had their Nets guy up, step forward, and what a step he made. Mason did very well, and it's doubtful that CMC is going to play. So, honestly, I think the 49ers just Nets man up. Everything works consistently, and they're able to push through the Minnesota Vikings, and Sam Darnold proves that he isn't that good like what we saw last week.
Yeah, I'll echo that. Try and move through it quickly. Matchup monster Jordan Mason. I think he could be really big again. I got the Niners in this game.
Yep, I'm agreed. Niners on this one, and I think Mason as well. I think he showed his stuff last week. I think he's going to do it again.
I mean, I think so too, but I don't want to say anything. I want to say Brandon Ayuk. I want him to do well after doing very little last week. He got the
One
bag.
thing
He
that'll
needs to
help.
prove it.
One thing that'll
Sounds like
help
that's
is
intentional.
yeah, right, for fantasy. One thing that will help though that I was going to say, Shane, is the Vikings secondary is not like the Jets secondary. Ayuk will have more opportunities.
I mean, Ayuk did drop a very, very catchable ball in the end zone, and even Peyton Manning yelled and was like, "This is what happens when you hold out on your
Yep.
contract and skip practice."
Yep, you have the rust. That's for sure.
So hopefully the rust is a little shaken off and he doesn't have an easy drop again.
Right.
All right, next up we got the Baltimore Ravens versus Las Vegas Raiders, which I like the Raiders and all, but I don't think that they're going to be good enough to beat the Ravens, who went toe-to-toe. Wow, that was very unintentional. Who went toe-to-toe with the Chiefs and lost by a toe.
Don't lie. You did that on purpose.
I really didn't. And that's why I'm ashamed, because I'm like, wow, that was such a good setup, and that wasn't intentional.
Oh man. Oh, that one. That game. That was a good
Gosh.
game. Wish we had a chance to talk about that one, but yeah, yeah. I got the Ravens on this one for sure. I think I don't think the Raiders stand a chance against Baltimore.
I think the Ravens will win by a toe.
I think they'll win by more than that.
Yeah, because they learned their mistake from last week, and now they're going to give a whole foot of space.
Yeah.
Puns continue. I'm going with the Ravens as well. I think the only place that the Raiders have them statistically is in points allowed, and so I don't see any way that they're going to come across any better. And frankly, I think Isaiah Likely, despite how sad I am, I didn't get him in any of my fantasy leagues. Everyone else wanted him. I think he's going to have one heck of a game again. Freaking McKay.
Yeah, most of those were me. Oh man. Yeah, so matchup monster. I'd agree with that. Isaiah Likely. I think another one that could be really good. I think the Raiders defense would have a real tough time with Derrick Henry. I'm gonna go with Derrick Henry on this one.
See, I'm very concerned with the Henry one, because there's been a lot of talk that they didn't bring Henry in to be like the main guy. They wanted to have the split backfield like they're used to. So I don't want to say Henry, but I'm gonna say the Ravens defense is gonna put in some work.
Hopefully, they had struggled against Mahomes.
Yeah, but they're gonna go against Gardner Minshew and a less powerful Raiders team, where the biggest weapon's honestly going to be Devontae Adams. And,
Yeah.
I guess Brock Bowers too. Brock Bowers was doing some work.
He did all right. Yeah, he got some decent points, like 10. I feel like he got like 10 fantasy points. Maybe I'm wrong.
What were Brock's stats from this last week? Scroll past it and went to preseason on accident.
Nice.
He had 6 catches, so I mean, he was the favorite target. All right.
Probably because they didn't have enough time to throw to anyone else. But anyway, okay.
Sunday morning football, we got the New York Jets with Aaron Rodgers versus the Tennessee Titans. And even though the Jets started out strong and then kind of faltered on Monday Night Football, Aaron Rodgers got pulled into the fourth quarter, yada yada yada. The Titans are bad. Will Levis looked horrible, and honestly, the biggest thing the Titans had going for them was the running back and maybe the defense.
I'll keep this brief. I end, but I think the Jets will win, but it'll be closer than you think. I think the Titans defense will make things rough for Aaron Rodgers. They actually aren't a defense that is a cupcake walk. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
They could be challenging. And I guess that'll transfer here for my matchup monster. I got the Jets winning, but I'm going to say the Titans defense is a matchup monster.
Tyler?
In the Jets, and I'm going with Breece Hall.
Ooh, all right.
I think he played one heck of a game last week, and I'm excited to see what he does against a Titans defense. I was going to say something more crude, but we'll just stick with defense.
See, I'm going to say the Jets defense, because I don't want to say Allen Lazard, who surprisingly was the best player on the Jets offense last week.
That was a fluke. Don't read into that.
I know. I'm like, that's a fluke. That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the Jets defense, I think they're going to get at least 2 interceptions.
Oh, yeah, I can believe that. Yeah.
I mean, I'm saying at least. That's like bottom. I mean, realistically, I think they're going to have at least 5 turnovers.
Nice. Yeah.
As
Yeah.
long as he just keeps floating them up there, someone will catch him, whether it's a
Yeah.
whether
And
it's
then
a
he puts,
Titans or Jets player.
and then he drops to his knees with his hands on his head in utter disbelief. Yeah.
And then lets them basically score.
How did this happen?
Yeah. Can't believe you done this. All
I
right.
can't believe the Bears won without scoring a single offensive touchdown.
Oh, don't get me started, man. Oh. Save that for another day. All right. I'll move on here. Sunday morning football. Jacksonville Jaguars, Cleveland Browns. Hey, I think we can go through this one fairly quickly across the board. I mean, for me, I got the Jaguars mostly because I really don't have faith in Deshaun Watson. I think just on the offensive side for the Browns, it's going to be an absolute mess, especially with this new lawsuit that Watson's getting again. Jaguars, I think they can make up for the mistakes that they made against the Dolphins. The Browns defense might be tough, but I think they'll win.
I mean, I agree. I think the only reason the Jaguars lost last week was because of mistakes, and those mistakes can be fixed. I mean, the defense even held Tyreek Hill pretty limited, who's one of the best wide receivers in the league, for the entire first half, and then second half he got like one big play. They kept him kind of quiet most of the game, so I think the Jaguars, they fixed the mistakes on offense. They're going to be able to do some good work against this Browns team.
Yeah, for sure.
Agreement. I think Jags take this, and I think matchup monster probably Josh Hines Allen.
Gosh, I still hate
Josh
that.
Allen.
Give me Tank Bigsby.
Yeah, good old Tank. He was doing some good work last week compared to doing nothing last season. I'm gonna go with Brian Thomas Jr. He was proven he was that guy last week, catching all 4 of his passes, and then they just stopped giving him the ball. I think they're gonna focus the game plan around him more, and hopefully that helps him prove, hey, I'm your guy for the future.
Yeah, no, I like that.
His passes.
All right. Chargers and Panthers. Oh, man. Let's just go through this one really quickly. This is not going to be a really entertaining game by any means. Hey, give me the Chargers. Who's next?
Give me the Chargers as well.
I think
Bryce Young's gonna have
the
a
Chargers.
7 touchdown game.
Against Khalil Mack? Ooh.
Here's the thing. I honestly think, this is all I'm gonna say about this. I think the Panthers might be the first 0-17 team.
Oh, okay, let's have one step at a time. You never know. They could
Really?
surprise, but it's looking like that.
Matchup monster.
Derwin James. Big guy who's catching a lot of Bryce Young's picks.
Tyler?
Josh Dobbins.
I am gonna
Or
say
J.K. Dobbins. I'm so sorry.
I am gonna say Bryce Young will be the matchup monster for the Chargers.
Real? Oh, so if he does well, great. If not, oh boy.
No, I think he's gonna do bad, and he's gonna be the reason the Chargers win.
Oh, I see.
That
Yeah.
defense is gonna score at least like 3 touchdowns off of him.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Oh man.
Cowboys and Saints. Hey, this could be an intriguing defensive matchup. Both good defenses. I'm gonna take a gamble here, even on one of my fantasy rosters, with taking Dak against the Saints. Could be good.
Okay.
Also, could be a total nightmare. But I got the Cowboys winning this game.
I think the Cowboys are just a better team, and I understand that the Saints had put up 30 plus points on the Panthers, but a lot of people are saying it's only because the Panthers were bad. I think the Saints showed a lot of improvement, but I don't think that they're anywhere close enough to be better than the Cowboys.
I don't know that I can pick a single defensive player, so I'm going to do the cop out and go with the Cowboys defense. I mean, but
I can pick a single defensive
honestly,
player
I didn't
for
give
you.
this one a whole lot of thought.
When in doubt,
Um,
pick
Hit me.
Micah Parsons.
if Deron Bland was like
Well,
more
I didn't want to
healthy,
go
I'd
with
say
the obvious one.
yeah.
And you can go with Trayvon Diggs.
Yeah, I might with him instead of Deron Bland. Yeah, give that. I'll take that one.
Uh, yeah, I
All
don't like
right,
any other
here's
player
kind of
enough
the.
to make one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. So kind of the only other big highlight one. In the next little bit is Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Detroit Lions. Hey, this was a playoff game last year,
It
so this
was.
could potentially get interesting. Both do have really good pieces, fairly consistent QBs, but I think the Lions are way better. I just see more production coming from the Lions to win this game. I do believe that Jared Goff may struggle a little bit against the Buccaneers secondary, but with the running back room that he has, they'll be able to make ends meet. They'll be able to win. And so with that, yeah, I got the Lions, and I get kind of covers my matchup monster as well, which is I think it could be anyone in the running back room, but particularly, yeah, it's a David Montgomery or Jahmyr Gibbs.
I would say Montgomery because I think Gibbs is still nursing his injury.
Oh, he's okay. He's not questionable.
Oh, I know, but I think he's still like lingering it a little bit. So I mean, I think he'll be the number 2 back, but it's gonna be a pretty split backfield.
Okay.
Lions, and I'm taking Amon-Ra. I think after a slow first game, that man comes back with a vengeance in everything he does.
Please, I have him in
I
like
I
would
think
hope
he's
that
going to be.
I have him like 3 fantasy leads. I would love if he just drops 40 points in every single one.
that would be nice.
I don't know that he's going to pull anything like that against the Buccaneers, but I see him having a pretty successful game. I'm not saying he gets a bunch of touchdowns, but I think he has a heck of a receiving stat line.
I could definitely see that.
Alright.
All right. Well, so Matt's not here obviously to cover his, but at least for some of his, I don't know. Let's just see if we can move through these really quickly since we're starting to kind of run short on time. This one's probably a real quick one. Giants and Commanders. Let's do a rapid fire here. Shane,
Commanders.
Tyler.
Giants.
Yeah, you're thinking Giants. So, okay, a little bit of discrepancy there, which I can see. I'm gonna take the Commanders too. No, if Matt were here, he'd probably take the Giants, just to make it interesting.
I think it's gonna come down to Daniel Jones, honestly.
Or Jaden Daniels. Give me Jaden Daniels for the matchup monster.
I agree.
I mean, I'm saying Jones because is he gonna be good? Is he gonna be Danny Dimes or is he gonna be Danny Pennies?
Yeah, probably pennies. Half pennies.
Gosh.
All right, Colts and Packers. That's the next one here. Look, it's so. I think we're all probably going to take Colts on this one just because Malik Willis does not have a great track record, and I think the Packers are going to really struggle here for the first part of the season until Jordan Love gets back. Agree? Disagree?
I agree. I think it's mainly Jordan Love being gone is the crutch that's going to stop them, especially because the Colts went toe-to-toe with the Texans and almost won. I think the Colts got it.
Tyler?
Agreed. I think Colts have this one.
Yeah.
I'm taking Richardson. I mean,
yeah.
As my matchup monster.
I'm sad that in Gridiron Heights he doesn't have the baby voice anymore. That was one of the funniest things.
That was funny. Hey, I'm going to play on the other side. Say that Josh Jacobs gets some decent yardage.
Hey,
because,
I like that.
yeah.
Is
All
there
right.
any final word on his? I know he's questionable. Is there any final word on that?
Jacobs?
I think he's playing.
Pretty
Yeah,
sure,
I think he's playing.
yeah, I'm like 90% sure Jacobs is playing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He is questionable, but he was at limited practice today due to a back injury, so I think he'll be okay.
Yeah. I think the expectation is he will play though. Patriots and Seahawks. Throw mine out there first really quickly. Seahawks. I think the Patriots, they managed to get one over the Bengals. Bengals struggle at the beginning of the season. I don't think the same is going to happen with the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks defense is going to be a big thing that makes it difficult for them.
I will also take the Sea Chickens.
I agree.
I think Sea Chickens got a good running game, got some of the best receivers in Geno, I don't know how Geno is still playing, honestly. He went from being a washed out backup quarterback to now leading a team that's doing pretty well, so
Yeah.
I'm taking the Sea Chickens as well. And I'm picking Julian Love as my matchup monster. I think he's going to have a heck of a game. I think they played against a great Broncos team last week. Not a great a great Broncos defense last week, and they still did pretty well. And I think they showed how well they could stop the play as well. And I think anyway,
I like that one.
We'll move
No,
on
that's
quick.
great. No, that's a good call. I don't think that's one that would have been like super called to the forefront. So I think that's a good pick. I'll agree with you on that one. I'll take it.
yeah, I can't hate it.
Yeah.
Wait, what the
Um,
heck? Sorry, I was looking at. I'm very
you
confused.
good?
I was looking at like the Seahawks Broncos, like all the players and all their statistics, and as I was scrolling down under defense, I see Laviska Chenault Jr. I'm like, wait, he's a wide receiver. He was playing defense.
Oh,
He played defense for at least like a snap or something, and I was just like, when did that happen?
I don't know.
I don't know if it's a mistake, but he was listed under defense, which is why I was very confused. Anyways,
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. That's true. Huh. Okay. Rams versus Cardinals. Man, this could actually be a really good game, but I don't want to spend too much time on it because I know we've got like several others that we got to go through too. It's almost like we just got to finish up here at the end. It's sort of a thing of with all of us talking here, we may still need to kind of readjust our process here. Tyler, you kick us off for this one. How do you think Rams and Cardinals will go? It's a division matchup. It's a good one.
I think Cardinals are going to do great. I think they're going to surprise people. I think they played really well last week, and I think they're going to keep that going. I think they're a little unstable as far as some of their offense goes, but I think they're going to start to get their legs underneath them, and we're going to see them take off.
Yeah, I could go. Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Connor is my matchup monster.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, good call.
Connor. I am saying the Rams. I think with Puka Nacua gone, that is a big hit to their offense, but I think that's gonna let someone else step a little bit. I mean, could be like a tight end, could be the next wide receiver up in Demarcus Robinson. It could be Kyren Williams. So I think someone else is going to step up to fill the shoes of Puka.
More than likely, it's going to be Cooper Kupp.
More than likely. But I feel like they're going to double team him, so I'm going to say Kyren Williams.
Okay, yeah.
It's a good call.
Just to finish this off here, I'm gonna agree with Tyler. Like, I think it'll be the Cardinals. I think they have a chance to put Rams down 0-2. I think they're gonna surprise some people. And I'm gonna take James Conner too as a matchup monster. He's off to a good start.
Alrighty.
All right.
Tyler, take us away.
Yeah, wrap us up here with these last
All right. Denver Broncos and the Steelers. Oh my gosh, my wife is going to hate me. I'm picking the Steelers, and part of this might be just hope that it wasn't a fluke that they could beat the Falcons, but I'm taking the Steelers over the Broncos. Good heavens, and I feel like Najee Harris has got to be my matchup monster. I think I don't know. And maybe it's not even so much that they'll have a great game, but I think if they can get their running game consistently going and keep it going the whole game like they did against the Falcons, I think they've got a pretty dang good chance to beat the Broncos.
Yeah, I gotta go with the Steelers here. Really do. I just think the biggest part of it that'll make things difficult is the Steelers defense. I mean, it's gonna probably be a low scoring defensive game. I think both these defenses will show up to play. My only concern that maybe makes me want to think this is, if Justin Fields is the starter, he almost beat the Broncos last year, and then he started making dumb mistakes. So assuming he's learned from his mistakes, he could potentially make things very difficult for the Steelers, or excuse me, for the Broncos in this game. So maybe just for the heck of it, I'll say that Justin Fields is my matchup monster here.
For mine, I do think it's going to be defense again. Bonitz threw 2 interceptions. I mean, when you have a quarterback throwing 40 plus times in a game, and especially when they're a rookie, there's going to be some mistakes. He's still working some things out. So I got to go with Steelers defense. I'm going to say Minkah Fitzpatrick.
All right.
That'll be it for me.
Yeah.
Impressive. Okay. Chiefs Bengals.
Tyler, you are in trouble, by the way.
Oh no.
Your wife said, "Let's see if he stays married."
Oh!
Okay, so
And then
might
she
be
said,
much more available.
"Nope, poor guy."
Remind me to never pick against the 49ers on this podcast.
You already have, though.
Lucky. Why can't the Broncos be good right now?
Right.
Because they're rebuilding.
Say that every
Nothing
year.
counts
That's
when
true.
you're rebuilding.
Give it. I predict 2, probably 3 years, and then we're going to see a pretty good Broncos team.
Yeah.
I think they found a good coach. I think they found a good quarterback, and I really think 3 years we're going to see a pretty good team.
All right. Anyways, as you were saying.
Anyway, 3 years
Chiefs
from now, we might even be
Bengals.
the same thing.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going Chiefs. Anyone defy me?
No.
I mean, Bengals normally give them a hard time, but I think the beginning of season Bengals are not mid-late season Bengals, so I think Chiefs got it.
Yeah, I would agree. Although it's really tempting to say, oh, the Joe Burrow will be the nightmare to the Chiefs here, but nothing else is gonna work. Nope.
I don't think so. Which is why I think Rashee Rice is gonna be my matchup monster.
Ooh,
Again.
I like that. I'll take him over Xavier Worthy.
Ooh, both of you are wrong because it's gonna be Isaiah Pacheco.
Ooh.
Because
Yeah,
Travis Kelce isn't gaining anything because of the political debate, so everything's focused on that and Taylor Swift and too much.
Yeah.
His love life is out of sorts.
Yeah. Pacheco though up against that run defense, he's gonna do well.
Yeah. Hey, if he breaks free, I think he's gone.
Yeah, for sure.
Ain't nothing like Sunday night. Bears Texans.
Can we get this one over with? Can we get this one over with?
Hey, maybe Caleb Williams scores 1 touchdown.
Against the Texans
Maybe.
defense, I don't know, guys. At least he didn't turn the ball over at all against the Titans. And against the Titans, he never turned the ball over against the Titans.
I think they're just a little bit of a slower team. I think they seem pretty clean. They're just a little bit slower start, and so maybe they just need a couple weeks. But I'm definitely picking the Texans for this early in the season. Which, this is probably the obvious choice, but CJ Stroud. Man has done amazing.
Texans are going to light them up 100%. But I think some of the struggle is as the interior defense, the defensive line kind of starts to get run down and tired. We saw it with the Titans. That's where it allowed for players like Tyjae Spears and Tony Pollard to break through. Now, granted, obviously Will Levis was the quarterback, so I definitely like the CJ Stroud pick. But I'm going to go ahead and say here that actually Joe Mixon has a really good game against the Bears.
I agree with the Joe Mixon pick.
Monday Night Football, I'm going to be in pain.
I'll make sure to send you lots of Bears messages.
So here I apologize. Do you think Dell will even compete with Mixon during this game? Or will it continue the way it's been with Mixon dominating?
I love Tank Dell, but it's so difficult to say a Texans player is going to stand out outside of basically Mixon, because Mixon's the go-to running back. I mean,
Mhm.
sheesh. He had 30 carries last week. That is
True.
insane. But all the receivers, they're kind of split pretty equally between who's getting the reception. So,
It's fair.
Yeah. I think we're more. It's going to be a lot more difficult to predict as far as which of those wide receivers is still going to become the number one. I mean, right now it looks like it's Diggs, but I think it's still up in the air.
I would say it's I mean, the interesting thing about last week is that Diggs and Collins had the same amount of catches. Diggs had the 2 touchdowns while Collins didn't have any, but Collins had 117 yards compared to Diggs' 33.
Yeah, that's fair.
So it's a neck and neck race between those two.
Yeah.
And then McKay will be in pain, and I will make sure to check on him, make sure that he's doing okay, and remember that it's still a rebuild.
Thanks, Shane. I hope Deshaun Watson runs all over you.
I was being sincere for once.
Sure.
Well, dang, now I just gotta give you where is it? Where is it? Oh,
There it is.
there it
That's what
is.
I was.
It's my
All
favorite
right.
sound because everyone just immediately recognizes what happens.
Yep. Tyler, why don't you finish us up here? Monday Night Football.
Oh, it's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be
Oh,
the Falcons and the Eagles.
Earth Battle.
You know, the Falcons haven't let anyone into their end zone yet, so we'll see how this game goes.
That's true.
Oh,
They've got
Oh my
that
boy.
going
gosh.
for them. Not
Did you say
Uh,
one
wait?
player has gone into the Falcons end zone and scored points.
oh, that's
So,
gonna change.
you know what?
That's gonna change.
I got to go with Eagles.
Yeah.
But I got faith that it's going to hopefully be a good game. And I think I'm taking Josh Sweat.
Ooh.
Let's see if they can learn from their mistakes and not allow Cousins to be so pressured that he throws 2 interceptions and nearly 4. So,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Saquon because he is everything the Eagles hoped for when they traded with the divisional rival.
I'm gonna go with Devontae Smith.
Ooh, I like
I feel
it.
like he's gonna be the really breakout guy in this game. I wish we were AJ Brown, but I'm thinking it's gonna be Devontae.
Alrighty, let's speed through our preseason predictions.
Yes, and unfortunately, when Matt gets back, maybe we'll have a chance to talk about his too. But we'll at least go through some of ours here.
Alright, Coach of the Year. I got D'Amico Ryans once again. I think everyone here currently agrees, except for Matt, who we don't know the status of.
Yep, Ryan's. Oh,
Tyler sounds so broken.
it's almost just like he's like collecting his thoughts again about like maybe he wants to venture a different opinion.
I was like last minute. Do I switch it up? Do I try to be different? And I ran out of time. I was like, I already wrote down Ryan's. I'll just stick with it. You
You
know,
could say
I'll
Jared
pick my
Mayo.
losing battles on another one.
Could go risky. Say,
You know, I would not be disappointed with that.
or
Yeah,
Harbaugh over at the Chargers now.
yeah.
No, I would be disappointed in that.
Meaning your
I
wife
feel
will
like that
kill
would
you.
be like a Coach Prime thing where, yeah.
Yeah. Comeback player of the year. There's a couple of differing opinions on it, but it's all quarterback. So I got Aaron Rodgers. I just feel like with how his schedule's going to work out moving here after the 49ers, it's going to make him look really, really good. Um, yeah, initially I had Nick Chubb, but I don't think there's going to be enough time for him to come back. So yeah, I got Rodgers.
I got Kirk Cousins. I mean, I think the main 2 front runners are Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins. It's going to be who does best between the 2. I mean, already off to a rough start, but hopefully Kirko Chains can come back and prove he is that guy.
They're going to be linked a lot because they both tore their Achilles and their quarterbacks on teams that they
And they're
technically really played
old
for.
quarterbacks.
Yes, yes.
Might be blind optimism. I'm a little less confident after watching him play in his first game, but I'm going to stick with him. I'm going to say that he needed a game. He didn't play all preseason. I'm just saying he needed a game back. He needed to figure out his crap. They needed to figure out how to protect him. And now he's ready to become back player of the year and lead the Falcons off to, at least a division title.
I think he's got all the weapons to do so.
Yeah, they just got to figure it out.
I agree.
Defensive rookie of the year. Shane, I'll just speak for both of us here. We both are thinking it's gonna be Dallas Turner for the Minnesota Vikings. Could be, maybe not. This one's always tough to predict this early on with rookies. Tyler, you got a different opinion. Let's hear it.
I think the Colts are gonna have a good defense, and I'm hoping that he has a big part to play in it. I I don't know. I feel like all of my choices tonight are just going to be. I was excited, and then I watched them play, and now my optimism is somewhat stifled, and so we'll see.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, and which is you're gonna see on this next one, but you know what? We'll just keep rolling.
I mean, to be fair, Dallas Turner did some stuff last week. I'm like, neither one of them really made a big splash last week.
And I feel like the defensive side of the field is harder to break into as a rookie. At least, and maybe that's a false opinion, but I feel like that's how I've seen it. And so it'll be interesting to see who does come up. Are they going to be someone who has a couple of good plays, or are they going to be a really consistent player? I don't know. I feel like it changes every year.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to offensive rookie of the year, where me and Tyler agree on this one. We got Caleb Williams, the number 1 overall pick. There was a lot of hype, and the main reason I put him on here is because he has every tool to succeed and make him succeed, except for maybe a shaky O-line, and right now that seems to be his biggest downfall, but it wasn't a hot start. Hopefully if the Bears O-line improves a little bit, he gets more familiar with them and they protect him a little bit more, he could be what we expected him to be.
Yeah, maybe.
That's my hope too. And once again, like I said, watching their first game, I'm like, oh, maybe should have waited a week before I made my prediction. But like I said before, I just think the Bears are going to be a better team as it goes on. I just don't think it's going to be week 1, week 2, or maybe even week 3.
Mm-hmm. I would certainly hope so. My pick is different. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's gonna be Marvin Harrison. And really just because I feel like, okay, this week wasn't a good judge of that, with the open miss and stuff like that against the Bills, but I feel like they're gonna get it figured out, and we're gonna be able to really see him turn on the Jets and just be an absolute dog out there. So I gotta go with him. But I wouldn't miss seeing Caleb Williams take off and having that go well.
I'm in agreement.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to just speed through 2 of these here just really quickly, just so we can kind of cap it off here with most valuable player. And then our other for the fun, again, we didn't get to it again, but I also feel like we want to hold off on this for the fun just because we don't have Matt here, because I really get the feeling he's going to have some strong opinions on this one, and we don't want to miss it.
Oh, yeah,
so,
next week we'll probably speed through a lot of our matchups or a lot of our predictions so we can really dig into this for the fun.
Yeah, we got to keep streamlining this process here. We're figuring it out. We're learning.
Hey,
so,
we're doing pretty good because, McKay, when it was just you and me, we went overtime many times.
It's true. I just feel like we just haven't devoted enough time for some things that we probably want to talk about more. So I'll just say this here really quickly.
As a regular viewer of the channel, yeah.
Yeah, okay, great. Thanks for the vote of confidence. Defensive player of the year. We're all going to have different opinions here, so let's talk about the opinions here in a second. But let's just go around here and let's name those players. So defensive player of the year, Shane, you
I got
have
Nick Bosa.
Tyler,
Max Crosby.
and I've got Micah Parsons. Curious to
I
see
like
what Matt
all of
has.
them.
Yeah, I think they all have a fair chance, honestly.
I think what's going to come down to is who's able to get free more. And all three of these players are very good at it, so it's just going to be who's able to do it more often.
Narrative will help too. You know, how's the
Mhm.
team looking? How are they impacting those win-loss records?
So it may be harder for Matt
I agree
Crosby, but
100%.
that's solely because of the Raiders.
I
who are
was
a good
gonna
team.
say that's probably his biggest downfall is the team the team he's hooked up to, you know. And
yeah,
because of that that reason alone, I could see him not making it. I could see maybe the more dedicated fans who, you know, really see him making an impact. And who knows, maybe he'll make a bigger splash just because he might be the only highlight of that team. So
Yeah,
maybe,
I've said the
but
same thing many times.
I mean, he was a highlight. You know, he was a finalist last year for the Defensive Player of the Year award, but he didn't win it. Even though, if you look at it on a comparison, his stats in a lot of categories were better than Myles Garrett's.
I mean, a lot
but
of defensive players beat out Myles Garrett stat-wise, but
the
you never
narrative.
know.
The narrative was the Browns weren't supposed to be good with an injured quarterback, but Myles Garrett led the defense that helped them out so much.
I mean, Josh Allen, I think, led almost every single defensive player in a lot of stats, and he wasn't it either. So I was like, huh. It's all about the story and the narrative.
Yep, it really is. It really is. And that's probably going to translate to Offensive Player of the Year, too. Go around the bend. Oh, let's go around the bend here real quick. Let's go to me last.
All right, I got Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's currently off on a rough start, but I think he'll bounce back on a good Lions team. That's all.
I can't disagree with that. I love Amon-Ra. I think he's a fantastic player. I think Tyreek is just going to be that difference maker this offseason. I think he was. I mean, I think this first week showed it. On a somewhat so game, he still killed it.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I'm actually going to take a different approach. Initially, my call was for Tyreek Hill to be the Offensive Player of the Year, but I am now getting the feeling that it's going to be. I honestly get the feeling that it's going to be someone on the Kansas City Chiefs that they're going to try and get it to. So with that, I'm not going to go with a name just yet. I think that's going to be more fleshed out as time goes on. It won't be Travis Kelce, but honestly,
Worthy.
I think you could see Worthy, Rice, Pacheco, maybe even Mahomes if they decide, because they've done that before, right? Where they've given the Offensive Player of the Year award to Mahomes, but they've named a different quarterback for Most Valuable Player. I could see that happening too.
I hate it. I mean, we talked about this before, because this is going to segue into our next section, which is the MVP. The MVP is a quarterback award, and I hate that it's become that. I want to see another player be the MVP, and we've had multiple opportunities. We had Cooper Kupp when he was the Triple Crown King. He should have gone it then. It's happened many times. It never happens. It's always a quarterback, which is why I'm going with Jared Goff.
I'm taking Patrick Mahomes. I think because he had a year off, I think he's ready to take it back. And I have a very unpopular opinion about this. I don't have an issue with the quarterback just taking the MVP award.
I do.
I think that arguably the most important player on any team is probably the quarterback. I think the quarterback will make or break a team pretty much no matter what the talent is around him. And so I don't have a problem with pretty much every year the MVP being given to the MVP of every team. You know, and that's not always the case, and I realize that that's a very broad statement. But, you know, let me stir the pot a little and say I don't have a big issue with that.
I'm with Shane. I definitely disagree. I do have an issue with it always being a quarterback award. I feel like it should have been Christian McCaffrey or Tyreek Hill last year. So sometimes I feel like there is a little bit of bias there. But I also like when it happens and it happens, I've just grown used to it. And obviously that's gonna play into my pick here, where I'm also picking a quarterback. But I got C.J. Stroud. I think if the Texans pick up, and they really do live up to the hype, boy, they are. It's him. He's gonna be the guy. I thought Jordan Love had a good chance in there as well, but I think with this injury, I think that's gonna kind of derail that this year. But C.J. Stroud, yeah, I got him.
The sucky thing is Matt said I wasn't allowed to change my choice, so I have to leave it at Mahomes. But it would have been CJ. After watching this first week of play.
Matt actually said you could change your pick. You just have to mention your original pick.
Oh, okay. So there we go. I've done both. I'm going to hop on the bandwagon of CJ Stroud, and I'm going to say, yeah, go for it, man.
Yeah, no, I like that.
I mean, if it's any between the three that we have listed, I hope it's Goff or Stroud. Stroud would be awesome because he would be one of the younger players to ever win the MVP. Goff would be, I see him winning it if he is able to carry his team potentially into the Super Bowl, or at least has a very good look to get to the Super Bowl.
I just don't think he'll be stand out enough next to his team to show that, which is one of the reasons I had to pass on Goff. Is I was like, I think he's a killer quarterback, but I don't think he'll shine enough, and so I don't think he'll make that.
Too many flashy weapons.
Yeah. It would be really cool to see it be a Lions player. I don't have faith in that one. Mahomes would make sense because it's the narrative. He's the darling of the NFL. CJ Stroud would be cool just from the point of what the Texans could do, how well he could play. Another funny one that could be in there as well that I wouldn't be against, that could get interesting as long as he stays healthy, brings his team to the playoffs. Anthony Richardson would be a cool pick.
Oh yeah, that'd be an awesome one. Alrighty.
It'd be interesting to see him win after the loss to CJ Stroud, followed by the win over him in the MVP award. That would be interesting.
Yes, it would. But let's also look at when they play each other again. Could Anthony Richardson get revenge? I think it's certainly possible.
Right. Oh, totally.
And how fun would it be if they both make the playoffs and have to play each other in the divisional round? Beautiful. Or the wild card?
That would be fun.
Cinema right there.
Cinema.
All right, gentlemen. That brings us to the end of this episode. We're going to keep refining our process here a little bit to really get to all the stuff that we want to talk about here. But I think this is a good second episode. We've covered a lot of good stuff. We'll see how this week goes with a lot of these fun matchups. Hopefully,
we weren't too overtime.
Yep. No, we weren't. Hopefully some of us, cough, Shane, do better in our fantasies. In our fantasy leagues this week.
Changes have been made already.
Oh, I'm praying for you.
And I'm not gonna be going up against freaking Jake Moody and Anthony Richardson, so
true.
That's gonna save me. Yeah, let's see. Oh, I go up against Tyler this week. I'm like, fun! Come on, Saquon, give me 40 points again. Man, my running back room is beautiful. My wide receiver room is ugh. Anyways.
That's how it goes.
Yep. All right, everyone. That wraps it up for this week. Feel free to tune in next week, and we thank you all for joining in.
Have a good night, everyone.